friends, I wanted to share today a fun little technique to paint trees. So I'm playing with this today. Here's a tree, and you won't believe how easy this was, I promise. I'm going to show you how I did it, and I think you'll have fun with it too. It's kind of a fun technique. What I'm going to do first, and I'm just playing as always with my MeiLang palette. You know, I love so much and think it's so great for beginners. I've already sprayed, activated them. They're ready to go. I have my clean, although I just dipped a little bit of yellow in there, but my wash and my rinse water. You want to make sure you're washing and rinsing. And I think what I'm going to start with is, I've got a couple brushes here. I'm going to have handy here my 8 Velvet Touch Princeton Round. You know, I love that brush. I've got a Zen Art brush here that's a 4 round, just in case I want to get some little branches and things. And then this mop brush from Zen Art, but you can use any mop brush that I just want to wet my paper with. So let me go ahead and get started here. Just put all my brushes on my brush rest here. Okay. So what I'm going to do first, oh, and I'm using my Artisto pad, which is really lovely, you guys. You hear me talk about this all the time, so if you're bored with it, just fast forward to where I actually get into the painting, which will be in just a minute. This one is a kind of a newer book, and I labeled it Spring 2024. I'll put it in, catalog it with all my other ones. Love it. I have torn out a number of them to give away for just different people in my family for springtime. But I love this heavy texture. It's such a great quality. It's not even 100% cotton, but it's great. And you'll see here in a minute, I'm going to do pretty wet on wet, and it'll warp a tiny bit, but a lot of times it flattens out. If not, I just wet the back and lay it under a towel in a heavy book, and it flattens right out. So let's get started. What I'm going to do first is I'm just wetting my brush. And this is a mop brush. This particular one, again, is Zen Art. Love her stuff. And I'm going to start, you could probably use a spray bottle as well, but I like the brush because I can get some really random drops, some big ones, some little ones. And I'm just going to start letting it drip onto my paper here, just like that. And now, while that is still wet, of course, I'm going to go in with my 8 Velvet Touch. And the colors I'm going to be using are going to be kind of my go-to greens. My sap green or tree green, depending if you're using MeiLang or your Winsor Newtons. It's kind of that bright cherry green. And then I'm going to use olive green for some of the deep dark areas. And then I'm also going to use, I'm going to put some yellow here that I'll just touch in a little bit here and there. So let me get started before this dries too much. Wash and rinse my brush, and I'm going to start with that green. Now I'm working a lot wetter than I normally might, so I don't mind that my brush is kind of fully loaded. And I'm going to go in and start applying this paint. I don't know if you can hear, my guinea pigs are having a good old time behind me here this morning. Sometimes they get a little rowdy. Okay, so I'm going in, and look at the beautiful white space because my paint is only going, my goodness, boys, what are you doing back there? This is what I love about this technique. It naturally leaves white spaces for you. So I love that. You don't even have to think about it. I mean, look what a beautiful tree that already created. And then I can just wiggle. So I back up on my brush and just wiggle and get some little pieces that might be sticking out. Now I'm going to go into my dark green and start dabbing that in. And that will just look like some shadowy areas. And what I like to do with this is I'm going to blow on this a bit and get it to move around. Isn't this beautiful? This is, you know, I talk about this so much. I love to really, yes, you can create these things yourself, but I love to work with the watercolors and kind of find the things that watercolors does just naturally and work with that. So now I'm tapping in quite wet. I'm not scraping off my brush. Some of the yellow. This is cad yellow. And letting that kind of show through as some little bright spots. But look how wonderful, you guys. It's automatically, because the paint, again, is going where I put those splatters, it's automatically leaving this beautiful white space that I think would be really hard to recreate kind of intentionally. And then what I'm going to do, I have some of my brown here, just a nice brown. You could use sienna, sepia, maybe some Van Dyke brown. And I'm going to use the side of my brush, or actually let's just draw in. And I'll show you what I will do here. Just tapping in. I'm going to get some of my darkest brown. There we go. And now what I'll do is I'm going to wash and rinse my brush and just set that to the side. I'm going to grab my credit card and I'm just going to give it a little pull here. And look at that. Isn't that wonderful? It just creates this nice trunk looking tree. And then some of these, there we go. I love that. I could pull out some of this, there we go. And then I might even go in and just add a little bit of green here and there. And what we could do is down on the bottom, just scrape some little grass here and there. Look how easy. All right. Now, once this dries a tiny bit, I'll go in and add a little bit more color. I think let's play with some blue in here. That might be pretty. So I've got some blue here, maybe two. I mean, if you really look at trees, you could add in, you know, they have so many beautiful colors. You could add in oranges if it's a fall tree. Something like that. Look at how beautiful. And this really, I just worked with what the watercolors do. I trusted them and let them do the painting. I'm going to go in with just a little bit more of my green, my sap green, just to add in a little more color variation. I might even go in with some water, just clean water, and let some of this blend a bit. There you go. So I'm pretty much basically done. I might go in with my dark brown and just touch in a little bit here, just to add some interest. We could also take our smaller brush and go in and just create some little branches showing through, like that. There we go. So look how fun. When this dries, you could actually go in and just add some texture, maybe some dry brush over that. I almost feel like I want to lift a little bit of color. So this is just a damp, barely damp brush, and I'm just lifting some of that paint. But look at, excuse me, how wonderful that is. It created this beautiful highlight. And look at these colors in this tree. That is what I just love about watercolors. That is me really playing with and supporting what watercolors can do in such a beautiful way. I mean, I could not have created this. The watercolors did this for me. All right, I think the last thing I might just want to add is maybe just some little yellow or orange flowers down here in the bottom, just to look like maybe those little dandelions. Like that. I want to kind of cover. You have to have quite a bit of water on your brush to trying to do this one-handed too. So something like that. You could kind of play with that. Maybe use some of your green. I want a little bit more defined lines, so I might be better off waiting till this dries a bit. There you go. I hope you have fun. You can always, by the way, go in and just do some splattering here and let it move around on its own. I just blew on it a little bit. So there you go. Isn't that a gorgeous tree, you guys? So fun playing with the watercolors, respecting what they can do, and really just trusting them that they will make this beautiful, gorgeous painting. All right, I hope that was fun. Happy painting, friends.